Welcome to this video on Xcelerate Forms Online. This video will provide details on how to use the Seller's Net tool in Xcelerate. The Seller's Net tool allows you to estimate the net amount the seller will get on the sale of a particular property. Upon completion of this lesson, you will be able to use the Seller's Net tool in Xcelerate by navigating to Seller's Net, filling in the upper fields, filling in the lower fields, using the bottom buttons of the page, printing, and signing out. You will now watch demonstrations of how to use the Seller's Net tool in Xcelerate. Start by logging on to Xcelerate. If you need information on how to log on to Xcelerate, please view the video on accessing Xcelerate. Once you have logged on, you will be on the home page called My Dashboard. On the left side of the dashboard, you will see a navigation bar. Click the Financial Tools link to open the Financial Tools menu. The Financial Tools menu will be displayed automatically on some browsers without clicking the Financial Tools link. Click the Seller's Net link. The Seller's Net page will open. Any red fields with a red asterisk next to the field are required fields, so you must enter data into that field. Some of the fields may become required based on your selections. The top portion of the entry screen is for general information about the sale of a property. At the top of the page, you can enter the seller's names in the seller field. This is followed by the address of the property in the property address fields. Starting on the left column under the address field, you need to select the state, county, and office from the drop-down menus the property is located in. If you have a real estate license in more than one state, you can select the state the property is located in and then the county within that state. The New Home field is optional, and you can select the Yes or No button in this field. Next is the Annual Ground Rent field. Enter data in this field if the annual ground rent applies to this property. If you have filled in the Annual Ground Rent field, you must enter a date in the Date Ground Rent Last Paid field. You can click the calendar icon to use the calendar to pop a date into that field. Next, select the Seller Pays Taxes button that applies to this property. If the seller has any unpaid taxes, enter the number of months taxes are unpaid in the next field. If the property has any additional units, enter that number in the next field. Under the Additional Units field, enter the property type by clicking on the Property Type button. The final field in this column is the Monthly Condo Fees field. Enter the data in this field if it applies to this property. At the top of the right column, enter the seller's existing mortgage balance in this field. Next, enter the interest rate of the existing mortgage in the Existing Interest Rate field. If the existing mortgage has a prepayment penalty, enter this amount in the next field. Enter any equity loan balance in the next field. Does the seller have an escrow account? Select the Yes or No button. If the seller has an escrow shortage, enter the amount of this shortage in the next field. If the buyer is getting a warranty with the property, select Yes or No if the seller is paying for this warranty. Next, select the type of existing mortgage on the property by clicking the button next to the existing financing type. If the property has no existing mortgage, select None. The final entry asks if you would like your printout to appear side by side or on separate pages. If you are displaying several different seller's nets for the property, select the side-by-side option and the results will show each seller's net next to each other. If you select the On Separate Pages option, each seller's net will appear on a separate page. The lower portion of the page provides for up to 8 different options or scenarios for the seller to compare. Before you can fill in the lower fields, you must click the Save button at the bottom of the page to save your work from the upper fields. After you have clicked Save, the Edit button next to the first option will be enabled. Click the Edit button next to the scenario you wish to add. The screen will refresh and open an entry screen for the particular option selected. Select the financing type in the drop-down menu of the financing method the purchaser has selected. Next, select the settlement date in the Settlement Date field. You can click the calendar icon to have Xcelerate automatically enter the date for you in the field. Now enter the offer price. Select how the recordation and transfer taxes are to be charged, split, or the buyer of sellers pays the whole amount. Is this a first-time home buyer? Select the option that applies. If ground rent applies to this property, select the option that applies. Tax payable date is a required entry. You can click the calendar icon to have Xcelerate automatically enter the date for you in this field. If the seller is paying any of the closing costs of the buyer, please enter this amount in this field. Enter the seller's points if this applies to the transaction in the field. Next, enter the amount of the new mortgage in the next field. Enter the commission rate percentage in the commission field. The commission amount will display in the next field after the above entries are saved. The annual real estate tax will be computed automatically and displayed after these entries are saved. If you would like to enter this amount manually, click the checkbox next to the Enter Manually field. The final entry asks if the owner will occupy the property. Select Yes or No. Once you have finished your entries, click the Save button. The screen will refresh and display your entries in the column you selected. If you would like to enter another scenario, click the Edit button next to that column to open the entry screen and enter the second scenario data. Once you have completed your entries, you may click the Save button to save your entries. This will also display any errors you have made when entering your data. The Cancel button will take you back to the previous screen you were on. The Clear button will clear all of the fields on the top of the form so you can start over. To clear any of the columns, click the checkbox next to the Edit button in the column you want to clear. Then click the Clear button to the left of the checkboxes. The Calculate button will calculate and display the results of the data you have entered. It is necessary to click the Calculate button to calculate the seller's net. The final button is the Print button. To print the results, click the Print button. This will open a new window and display the results. Once the new window has opened, click the Print icon in the upper left of the page. A printer menu will open. Once you have made your selections on the printer menu, click the OK button to send your print job to the selected printer. Once you complete printing, you can close the results window by clicking the X in the upper right-hand corner of the window. To log off of Xcelerate, click the Log Off link in the upper right-hand corner of the page. A window will open and ask, "Are you sure you want to log off?" Click OK to log off of Xcelerate. This concludes this presentation on how to use the Seller's Net tool in Xcelerate. Additional training videos on this and other topics are on the Long and Foster Cafe. We thank you for viewing this video.